I want your calls on this. Should foreign aid be cut? 0207 862 2222 is the number for your view. The UK spends billions of pounds every year on overseas development, and the money is used for things like tackling global diseases, reducing poverty, and on disaster relief in the aftermath of an earthquake, for example. But the Shadow Chancellor, Sir Mel Stride, has said that the Tories would slash that budget if they were in power. Is this a sensible way to save money, do you think, or do you worry that it would negatively impact millions of people? Rick, what's your view?
If foreign aid money was spent well, then I would support foreign aid money, but it's not spent well. Some of the money and how it's spent is a complete waste. I looked up some of where our money's been going, £10 billion a year, about where that's currently going. In the last year, we've spent 10 million on accountability and inclusion in the Congo. We've spent £500,000 for a fleet of electric Porsches for Albanian jails. We've even sent millions, £114 million for inclusive green policies in India. Storm, India is the world's fourth biggest economy. If you ever see someone on a train begging, asking for money here, how can you ever justify sending millions of pounds overseas to some of the world's biggest economy when we can't feed and clothe our own population?
Well, when you put it like that, Stella, maybe we shouldn't be sending quite so much abroad.
No, I don't think we're sending so much abroad at all. Our foreign aid is already at a 25-year low. Keir Starmer has already cut the spending from 0.5% to 0.3% of our GDP, and the majority of this money, 40% of the foreign aid budget, already goes to our asylum system. So a lot of it is already spent here. Now, here is the problem. It may sound very good and very tough when you say we're going to cut foreign aid because we are giving it on random stuff abroad, which, by the way, all of these programs, most often they are to stimulate economic activity. So it is a very simplistic way to describe them as, oh, we're giving money to India, which is a developed country. Well, there are other reasons why the UK and countries like the US and other European countries are giving aid to these places. It is actually very useful as leverage for us to have this, and it does make the UK a stronger power in the world. Now, when it comes to us wanting to reduce immigration and specifically to reduce the flow of refugees, a much more effective way of reducing refugees is making sure there aren't as many refugees to begin with. Every $1 that is being spent in conflict prevention right now could save $100 in the future in crisis aversion. And the amount of money that we spend at the moment, we spend over £120 per day for asylum seekers who we have here in the UK. We could slash that budget if we were taking care of people, of refugees abroad. And it is very easy to say, we're just going to wash our hands and we're not going to care. Well, people are going to arrive at your shores, whether you like it or not.
So, Rick, there's two main arguments here. The first one I'll put to you, soft power. It gives us soft power globally. We are able to have easier communication with other countries. We can set up better trade deals with other countries. What would you say to that argument?
Soft power is really important. You know, the role of things like the BBC World Service, the role of the UK music industry, spreading the goods, the royal family, really important. It brings in so much money to the country. I wish that things did work well and it did stop the flow of refugees. And if the money was going to stop the flow of refugees and places where there is major conflict and stopping them coming to our borders, I wish that did happen, but it's not. There are too many examples of how we spend foreign aid awfully, Storm. I mean, I gave you some examples before, but they get even worse. There was £133,000 last year spent on studying shrimp in Bangladesh.
But if you knew that actually studying shrimp or any of these things actually helps prevent famine, or it helps with preventing ecological catastrophe, would you feel better about it? Because the way that you say it, it sounds really flippant, but that is not how science works.
But the money could be spent on stopping people
But it is this kind of money.
Supporting those people who are struggling in those countries. But it's not being spent on those. It's being spent on weak initiatives. No. I don't understand. I really don't understand how we're sending £500,000 to help Porsches in Albanian jails. I just don't understand.
Well, they're electric vehicles, so maybe that has something to do with it, but I think a lot of people will have a bit of concern over that. Pat from Merseyside, what's your view on foreign aid? Do we need it? Should we increase it? Or are you happy to decrease it, as the Tories say that they'll do?
Hi, Storm. Lovely to see you and the panel. I agree with some of the points both of the people on the panel are saying about trade being important as well as aid. But I look back as an older person. After the war, the only countries that we got aid from was Canada, New Zealand, Australia, and all the Commonwealth countries. So therefore, we give to the whole of the world in some way. I think, as the gentleman said, the money is not being spent in the right directions. So if it were temporarily, while we're paying for people to come into this country illegally, if we temporarily stopped it, reevaluated it, maybe it would work better and go to the people in those countries that really need it, and we could still keep our trade values with those countries, but reevaluate how we spend our money. We need that money at the moment for the amount of people that are coming in illegally.
Well, that is part of what the money's spent on, and we have reduced it, so not paused it as you suggest, but we certainly have reduced it over the last few years because of financial constraints. Pat, thank you very much. Shirley from Hampshire, what's your view on foreign aid? Do we need it?
I believe in charity, but I don't believe it should be anything to do with politics at all. No government should decide what money people donate to charity. I think they should just have appeals, like Bob Geldof did. He raised a lot of money without any interference from the government. I think all charities should be raised from just the general public donating what they want to donate.
Shirley, and I think we are quite a generous nation. How do you feel about that? How will that work in terms of soft power and trying to stymie issues like migration?
People need to understand that the reason why countries give foreign aid, it's not just because of the goodness of their own hearts. There is always an economic incentive. There was an economic incentive for the US to achieve the position that it has with USAID. The same for the UK. There is a reason why we are involved in these countries. And the reason is economic. It is because it benefited us economically to be involved there. We are seeing China replace us now. And what China does is, you will be shocked the amount of subsidies they pour into African countries. They will go there and they will literally take over massive public works that benefit the local communities. Why do you think they're doing this? Do you think they're doing this because they really care about other countries and their well-being? They're doing this to entrench themselves economically there.
I suppose that's maybe where we're getting confused, but Shirley thinks that they should be held separately. Charity and politics, not together. Now,